Health workers in the fight against drugs and alcohol say people in remote areas are missing out on services because there's no one there to refer them. A new rehab centre for Aboriginal people in South Australia's north has had only a dozen clients since opening, despite urgent need for the service.
Trent Mudge has a knack for model making, a hobby which has kept him busy while battling alcoholism. Before getting help, he couldn't go a day without drinking.
It's been 9.5 weeks since I've actually had a drink, and I'm feeling better for it every day.
He's one of 12 people who have used a new drug and alcohol rehabilitation centre in Port Augusta since it opened in November.
One bridge at a time, I suppose.
About half of them had been abusing the substance known as ice.
We're getting a lot of clients coming in with complex mental health issues, and really people need support before they come in.
This is one of only 2 Aboriginal-specific rehab centres in South Australia. The other one is at Murray Bridge. But managers at the centre say there are huge challenges in getting people here from remote communities because there's not enough mental health services to refer them.
One of the major barriers for them coming further into the rehab is we can't get a mental health assessment. I've heard in some of the remote communities, for example, they're lucky to see a psychologist once every 6 months.
Without a mental health assessment, someone can't be referred to rehabilitation. South Australia's Aboriginal Drug and Alcohol Council says that means people in remote areas are missing out on services they could otherwise receive.
What we would hope is maybe government should be looking at is setting up some sort of mobile mental health team that can travel to these communities.
For Trent Mudge, seeking help was the best thing that's happened to him. He's now studying community service to assist others with substance abuse problems. Nicola Gage, ABC News, Port Augusta.
The state government wants to trial the use of soft shackles on mentally ill prisoners after yet another scathing investigation by the state Ombudsman. The latest report details a man shackled to a bed in the Royal Adelaide Hospital Emergency Department for 5 days, with no access to a shower or toilet.
Another report with confronting findings. 2 years ago, a 20-year-old prisoner with mental health issues spent 5 days with his arms and legs shackled to a bed in the Royal Adelaide Hospital's emergency department and denied access to a shower or toilet.
It is an absolute breach of human rights where a person is denied access to bathroom, toilet and shower facilities.
The incident took place 1 month before another prisoner received these injuries when he was handcuffed and shackled in the same hospital for 4 days. In his latest report, the Ombudsman ruled the Correctional Service Department acted unreasonably in shackling the prisoner the way it did, and that management of him was lax, with some paperwork relating to his treatment not properly submitted. The report said the decision to refuse hospital watch officer assistance to shower the prisoner is inexplicable.
Correctional officers really didn't review the level of restraint required for this prisoner.
He's called for better training of officers and for the department to limit the time mental health prisoners are restrained in hospital. The government says it will implement all of the report's recommendations.
The Department of Correctional Services is about to look at undertaking a trial of implementing soft shackle and restraint technology that has been developed in conjunction with New South Wales.
The state government has previously set a target that by the start of this year, no mental health patient would spend more than 24 hours in an emergency department. And while these 2 incidents occurred in 2014, the ABC understands that another patient was shackled inside the Royal Adelaide Hospital for 5 days last week.
The evidence is people are still being restrained for this period of time in our emergency departments.
Sometimes we will have large numbers of patients waiting for days at a time.
The state government says it's increased the number of mental health beds in the system and is committed to reaching its 24-hour target for mental health patients. Nicola Gage, ABC News, Adelaide.
For most people living in South Australia's remote APY lands, English is their second language and sometimes third. It's a world away from metropolitan Australia, but an exchange program is helping to break down cultural barriers. Nicola Gage reports.
And this one is honeycombs.
So today we've got a great chance to do some painting with these guys and do some Aboriginal artwork.
Art class is in full swing at St John's Grammar in Adelaide, helping 5 students from Piplajara Ananu School, which is more than 1,000 kilometres away in the state's remote northwest.
Hold it straight. There we go.
They're part of an exchange program between the 2 schools. Each year a group travels to Adelaide and joins classroom activities. In return, students from the city venture north.
What we do when the kids come up, we show them our culture. We're talking to them and teaching them language. We're taking them out to country.
It's a rare opportunity for many of the kids who have never been to a remote Aboriginal community. The school wants to build a greater understanding of both cultures and help form friendships that last into adulthood.
It's when we get to know each other that we really find that we have that sense of reconciliation and recognition of each other.
Mr Wicks's first job as a young teacher was in Piplajara, which spurred him to set up the relationship.
I think as a 23-year-old, it was just something that totally changed my worldview.
He hopes it will be the same for his students. While the program has proved beneficial in the classroom, it also incorporates other activities. The students will be heading to the Womadelaide World Festival this weekend, where a choir from the APY lands will be performing. Strengthening ties with the opposite end of the state and breaking down cultural barriers with every visit.
I think a lot more schools should start to make relationships with schools in the Northern Territory, in the South Australia, in remote areas, because there's so much to offer.
Nicola Gage, ABC News, Adelaide.